Thank you so much for being here, for making time to join this webinar. I'm Justina from BatOnRoute. It's a software for the school buses. And today, together with me, there is Ray Percy Jackson. She's Integrations Manager at iSAMS. Hello, Ray. And there is also Kristen Jackson, who is the Director of Technology and Strategy at Hill House School in Doncaster. Thank you, Kristen, for being here.
Hey.
Well, Kristen has been our loyal ambassador from the day one, so that's why he is here. And today we are going to speak about the digitalization of the school bus routes and the typical issues that the schools you are facing with some examples that Kristen is going to provide from his day-to-day. And let's make a start. So I think I'll give the word to Rai so she can speak a little bit about iSAMS.
Yes, thank you, Justina. So yes, as Justina mentioned, I am the Integrations Manager at iSAMS. So basically, I manage the Integration Partnership Program that we have here. And I'm thrilled to be here today as part of this exciting webinar being hosted by BatOnRoute. At iSAMS, we really believe that our partners play a really crucial role in our ongoing success. And our marketplace of integration partners is a testament to the diverse range of products that seamlessly complement and connect with iSAMS. So in 2020, we welcomed BatOnRoute to our growing family of integration partners. With them specialising in optimising school bus routes, BatOnRoute provides a valuable solution for schools, offering great features that we could really only dream of here at iSAMS, which is why we love having all of our integration partners, because they really do fill the gaps of your needs and specialise and provide you with all of the features that you need. Now, I'm delighted to join you here today, as community lies at the heart of everything that we do at iSAMS, from whether it be our regional user group days or to supporting our marketplace partners with events like this one. Connecting with you is all a genuine pleasure. We believe that the best ideas often come from our community, and we're eager to collaborate with you to continually improve and tailor our solutions to your needs. Your suggestions are invaluable as well, and we want to make it even easier for you to share your thoughts with us at iSAMS. At any time, you can feel free to send us your suggestions in our newly upgraded ideas portal. You can find the links to all of those on the iSAMS websites, but today is all about BatOnRoute. So I'm very, very pleased to hand over to Kristen to tell you about how BatOnRoute helps Hill House School's student transport system be efficient, safe and secure. Over to you, Kristen.
Well, thanks, Ray. Thanks, Justina. Yeah, I'm the Director of Technology and Digital Strategy for Hill House School, and I believe we were the first school in the UK to adopt BatOnRoute just under 2 years ago, which is why I'm here. In that respect, it's probably useful for you to understand our context as a school with respect to transport, so to see how our experience might match up with yours. So Hill House is an independent school. We were established just over 100 years ago. We've got around about 850 pupils, ranging from about 2.5 years old to 18. We're a good school. We were rated outstanding by ISI just recently. We made it into the top 10 list, or one of the top 10 lists of the Times Top 10's educational supplement recently. And we won the Independent School of the Year back in 2012. In terms of technology, we kind of fit the kind of template that most independent schools in the UK fit, which is kind of an independent school running iSAMS. We use SOCs for sports and activities. And where we probably differ, obviously differ from everywhere in the UK, is that we adopted BatOnRoute for transport. So technology-wise, that kind of gives a clue as to how we kind of fit in. In terms of transport, Hill House kind of operates a very busy transport service. So we have around 14 routes. We have 3 coaches and the rest are minibuses, the capacity being one of our major sort of challenges. So we operate overall about 60%. We're at 8 or so of the routes will be at 80%, and on some days, one of those 8 routes will be at least 100% of capacity. So it is a really very busy service. In terms of the nature and the range of locations, the services, well, we're based in Orkley near Doncaster, and we operate on about a 30-kilometre kind of radius from the school. Most of which the stops will be rural and quite remote, drivers tend to form, because of that, and I think because of the remote location, drivers tend to form good relationships with the parents, and we find that the routes slowly kind of modify themselves to be more appropriate for parents, which is another challenge that we have as a school. So hopefully that kind of gives you a kind of vague idea how we are as a school and in terms of transport. Now, if we look at the benefits of integrating with iSAMS, well, this for us is a bit of a no-brainer, I think, from most people's point of view as well. The reasons are obvious. If your school has as a primary source iSAMS is data source, then you need really all systems to kind of read from that source. You need to make sure the data is consistent, it's reliable, it's not duplicated, it's up to date, and it's transferred securely. So the first thing we do when getting a new system is we go to BatOnRoute, to iSAMS marketplace, so to make sure that whatever system we get reads from iSAMS and has those characteristics. So that leads to a kind of service that is more professional. Parents don't see errors, data is up to date, it's transferred securely. Parents trust the data. There are no complaints via WhatsApp, which is hideous. It helps administration, it helps child safety, which is essential, really is a really essential starting point for any service. Now, in addition to the kind of the basic data that's transferred over from iSAMS, BatOnRoute also transfers attendance data. One of the bigger problems we have or we face is making sure buses leave on time in the evening and aren't delayed waiting for pupils in the morning. So drivers need to know who is on the bus, who is ill, who's at the dentist, and so on. So having data transferred from iSAMS gives them the confidence and leads to a better service with less complaints and far more positive feedback. And finally, in terms of reporting, if you have the same data in one system as you do in the other, it is far easier to use those two data sources accurately. So we find it far easier to raise bills at the end of term and to create reports that include data from both sources. So having the two systems integrated is incredibly important to us.
Well, thank you so much to both of you for the nice words. And I'm going to take over here to speak a little bit about BatOnRoute for those who do not know us. So BatOnRoute simply is a software, so it does not require installation of any additional devices on the buses. So the schools do not need to change their current provider or to ask them to alter the buses. Simply, since it's a software, it can be it can be implemented tomorrow, and you can start using it. And it's simply a system that consists of 3 elements. So there are 2 applications, one for the parents, another one for the drivers or bus attendants, if there are any on the bus, and the school. The school has their own control panel that is based on a web page. And the system allows for the real-time information flow in between those 3 parties, giving transparency to both schools and parents, and giving the sense of security to the parents. Apart from Hill House School in Doncaster, we have been trusted by over 800 schools in 27 countries right now. So it only shows that the system is good, but it also shows that all around the world, the schools have the same issues, the same problems. The parents complain about the same things in the UK, in Spain, and where we are based, by the way, and in Kazakhstan, where we have a very, very strong client base. Of course, majority of our customers, the schools, are European because we are based in Europe, but we are working from Latin America until Kazakhstan, as I said. And in the UK, Kristen was the first school, Hill House was the first school to have implemented BatOnRoute. And thanks to all the recommendations, thank you, Kristen, one more time, to the other schools, we are working with quite several schools in the UK as well. And as I said, the system is 3 elements. On the screen right now, we can see the app for the parents. There is the app for the drivers and the panel of control. both the applications are available on iOS and Android, so virtually any device can be used for the sake of our system. And as you would see, we put the branding of the school on the app, so the parents know that they are in the correct place. The apps for the parents not only gives us the possibility of tracking the bus while it's coming to get our child, or when our child is present on the bus, which is quite a difference from the GPS systems, the regular GPS systems, where you can track the vehicle always and you have no idea if your child is there. Our system allows for this tracking only when we are interested in that. When I go to the app early in the morning or late at night when my child is not on the bus, I will not see anything as a parent. Apart from that, I can see I'm receiving automatically generated push notifications about the fact that the bus is close to my stop or any possible delays. And also if my child is present on the bus or not, I'm also notified about that. And if the school lets me, I can also notify the school about the absence of my child, or even change the route or ask for an ad hoc trip. And I can do it as a parent from the comfort of my own sofa at 11 p.m. I don't have to be calling the school, and the school does not have to do all this admin afterwards. I just automatically remove my child from the bus list or change the bus for them if there is a place on alternative bus. Then we have the app for the drivers or bus attendants. As you would see here on the screen, it's a very, very simple app. It's because we try to minimize the time that the driver or the attendant would spend on the phone. Their job obviously is different. And also we try to eliminate the contact of the driver or attendant with the parents, because they cannot be receiving multiple phone calls or messages from the distressed parents. We give all the information to the parents on the app, so they do not have to contact us anymore as the school. And as you would see, as a driver, I would see my route that I have to do in a day. And if I enter any of these, I would see the children that I have to pick up on every stop. And what I have to do as a driver is only switch on the app and press on the green tick when the child is present, or a red cross if they are absent. So basically what the drivers or the attendants are doing now, but on a piece of paper. This checking of the attendance can be done by the use of QR codes or NFC as well. There is facial recognition mentioned here, but I think majority of people joining us today are based in Europe, so unfortunately you have to forget about it due to the GDPR. But if you are based somewhere else, it's available. And that is it. The drivers have some other options if the school lets them. For example, they can notify about any incident, the school, not the parents, or they can even add a student on the stop where they have not been assigned to previously. This is also where the integration with iSAMS is so important, because the drivers have the access to all the database. There is another feature that we have added to our system, that is closing the route with the QR code. We have developed this on the petition of one of our schools because we wanted to minimize the possibility of leaving any child behind, which is quite a major issue. And it has happened a lot. As you know, here in Spain, there have been a lot of news about it, but not only in Spain. And actually the petition came from our school abroad. And basically what we do is we make the driver or the bus attendant to walk through the whole bus, to scan the QR code that is placed at the back wall of the vehicle, to scan the QR code to close the route. Like that, if there is any child who is sleeping, which is really easy because it's early in the morning, they are tired, and they are not visible from the front of the bus, they would be spotted by the driver. And the last element of our system is the panel of control. That is simply a place where the school does all the operations. It is based on a web page, so it can be accessed through a mobile phone or a tablet. It's always better to have it at the desktop. I'm sorry, because there is a lot of info there. But it's prepared to be visualized on the smaller screen. And this is where the schools would do their operations on a daily basis in a very user-friendly and agile way. They can add the routes, remove stops, add new students, etc. Having integration with iSAMS also helps here a lot, because if we have newcomers or leavers, then we do not have to add or remove the same information from the two systems. They just speak. And of course, the school can see all of their buses in the real-time location. They would see what time the buses pass through every stop. And most importantly, in real time, the schools can see if the children are present or absent. So if there is any parent calling us, we are able to say straight away if their child is present without speaking with anybody. But I think, and Kristen might here agree with me or not, I think the best feature for the schools would be the channel of communication with the parents. So if we need to communicate something to the parents fast, we can do it without creating any WhatsApp groups, any emails. We would just, with one click, communicate something to the whole route or one parent. And lastly, the wide variety of reports. I suppose if you are controlling busing system with Excel sheets, retrieving any information is time consuming and involves a lot of human error. However, with our system, with just one click, you can get any data, any comparison that you wish. We have plenty of reports, but all of our schools know that if you need any other, anything additional, just ask us. If we have a data, then we create it. And very often when we speak with the schools, majority of us, of the schools joining us today, are based in the UK. So you are lucky enough, I would say, as Kristen is, to have your own fleet, or at least majority of it. So this is one headache less. However, here in Europe, majority of the schools are working with the third party, with a bus operator. And then the question is, who is using BatOnRoute? Usually it's the school, even though sometimes when we speak with the schools, they say, no, it's our bus provider that does all. But then my question is, if the parent wants to complain or needs to know if their child is on the bus in a fast way, who do they call? The school, or rather the bus provider? No, if they call you, then it would be quite necessary to have this information in real time. But we work with both. We work with schools. Majority of our customers are schools, but we work with bus providers, with coach companies as well, who just want to have this competitive edge when they propose their services to schools, or simply because the schools let them know that they would need a system like that. And we are going to very swiftly move to challenges that the schools face. I think this is Kristen before before implementing BatOnRoute. Is it, Kristen?
Yeah. Not so much grey hair back then.
Well, fun fact here is that when we were preparing the slides, I prepared one page of the challenges for Kristen, but he made the second one for himself as well. And if I hadn't stopped him, there would be many more. So it only shows that there are a lot of issues that the schools have to deal with, right?
Oh yeah, we have a lot of challenges to face. So yeah, transport is a challenging thing. So Hill House has come a long way in the last decade or so. We've come from the school itself has kind of doubled in size. The transport system's doubled in size. We used to run on a paper and Excel system, as you kind of described. But now we have a kind of busy and very popular service. So being busy, we have some major challenges to overcome. So capacity, I would say, as I mentioned a couple of times now, is perhaps the biggest one. It's potentially dangerous. Parents have in the past had a tendency to try and get the children onto full buses without bookings, for example, and that's obviously dangerous. We can't have a situation where we might potentially have to leave a child on the roadside. It's just not a thing you can do. But now, by insisting parents use the app, especially on busy routes, they can check that they have space, and they can check, and the drivers can check that who's actually getting on the bus. So there's a lot more kind of manageability there. There's a lot more kind of control over that system, making capacity a lot more manageable and giving everybody a confidence, basically. Registration is another challenge. So obviously, if you have a paper or an Excel version, it's very, very difficult to figure out who's getting on the bus at any one point. But to know where a bus has a problem with capacity, you need to kind of know quickly who's actually on it. So with BatOnRoute, we now know that we know who's on the service and exactly where they are. And on the larger coaches, the drivers are externals. We can do the registration very quickly, because obviously if they're an external driver, they don't know who the pupils are visually, so they can use QR codes instead. So we allow them to sort of scan themselves onto the bus, and then we can get registration data there really quickly. And of course, to all do all that, to know who's actually on the buses, to manage a very busy service, and to have a rapidly changing system, it's impossible unless you have a system that takes a lot of the effort out of administration. And yeah, so you need a decent sort of sophisticated system. It also allows us to deal with sudden changes, so emergencies, so weather, bus breakdowns, general emergencies. And for example, this Friday, we had a coach break down about 2 or 3 miles outside of school. We were able to alert the parents of the pupils who were on that bus that there was a problem, tell them how long the delay was going to be. And during all that time, parents could actually see exactly where their child was at any one point. So dealing with emergencies was a lot easier, and we look a lot more professional in that situation. So it really has kind of enhanced us in that respect. Okay, so can we...
Oh, sorry.
Okay. As I mentioned at the start, there's a good relationship between our drivers and the families they serve, which is good, but it has its own challenges. So if you have a driver illness situation, for example, it's very difficult for another driver to step into the shoes of that driver and figure out where the stops have moved to and these kind of informal sort of changes that have made. So having a system where the drivers themselves can actually reposition the stops is fantastic. Having a system where they can tell us that the stops have changed if they don't trust themselves technically, and we can actually exactly pinpoint where a stop is incredibly useful. So for driver changes, and we had a situation about 6 months ago, in fact I think it was September, thinking about it, we had a driver who was ill, and we were about to cancel that route because we couldn't figure out any way of kind of manning that service when the headmaster decided he wanted to step in and run the route. So he did that for about 3 or 4 days, and he was able to use the data that the previous driver had left on the app, together with the content on BatOnRoute, to figure out exactly where the stops were, exactly who was meant to be getting on them, and actually just pick up from basically zero knowledge. So it is incredibly useful to have that, and we would have had to cancel that route without that. In terms of complex families, I think we're not unique in having a fairly large percentage of families with a split. So you have one half of the family lives one place and another lives somewhere else. So allowing a family to put a child on bus X on Monday and bus Y on the following Monday, it's incredibly difficult to manage as a school, because you have dozens of phone calls coming in wanting to change these things all the time. So allowing, giving them the ability to actually change their bookings themselves to a certain degree, as long as the bus has got capacity, is incredibly valuable. It really kind of parents think it's brilliant, and they're able to confidently make that booking without interfering with us, without sort of demands on our time, and actually have confidence that they've got a seat that on that particular day. So it looks good for us. It looks very professional, and it's a very popular kind of feature. In terms of transparency as well, and control, having an app that shows what bookings the parents have got, allowing them to make changes to some bookings, and knowing where the child is and when and giving them alerts when they're getting on and off the system, off the service is amazing. And having that kind of level of transparency obviously brings confidence into the use into parents as well. And also, when you think about it, having 200 or so families queuing at the school gates every morning and in the evening has obviously implications in terms of transport, in terms of traffic, and getting pupils onto the buses means that we are obviously better for carbon emissions and so on. So it's much better in terms of green issues as well. So yeah, there are some of the major challenges that kind of we face and that BatOnRoute are helping solve.
Thank you so much, Kristen. So Kristen has mentioned many solutions that his school has provided already, but I have listed some others that appear in our talks with the schools. So I would like to add a little bit here. Of course, as Kristen was mentioning, placing a system like BatOnRoute on our routes helps us to give the transparency to the parents, which in turn boosts their confidence and can lead to boosting the daily school runs. registering the students with the QR codes or NFC badges, if we already use those for example, the access to the school really helps us to make the registration process swifter, especially if our transport is quite bulky, if we have many students entering the bus. Then the schools can close the route with the QR code, as we have mentioned before. So like that, the driver has to cross the whole bus to close the route. So like this, we make sure we do not leave anybody behind. And I think, as Kristen also mentioned, the minimizing the long queues of cars in front of the school just leads by example, right? So there have been. Let's maybe nicely move on to the next slide, that is going green. This is a very important subject. It has been a really important subject for many, many years now, and environment is something that we have to take care of, definitely. And there have been some studies that say that taking away placing one school bus takes away over 30 cars from the streets. So imagine the volume that, for example, Kristen has, how many cars you are taking away from the streets, and thus you not only avoid the long lines in front of the school, but also a heavy traffic in the peak hours. And also, there are some other very innovatory schemes that are slowly being implemented by some schools. Actually, it's the local governments that started that scheme, but it's becoming more and more popular now in independent schools as well. It's walking to school bus. So it's basically the same as taking a bus, but there is a worker of the school or the police officer who will be walking the children to the school, and we can also monitor that with our system. And what do we gain at school? So this happy face, this is another photo of Kristen after implementing BatOnRoute. But yeah, I would say that the schools gain a lot, apart from all of those things that Kristen has mentioned. I would say that majority of our schools, what they mention after implementing BatOnRoute is the reduced number of phone calls and emails and from the parents, because the parents are given all the necessary information that they require. They know if their child is on the bus, they know when the bus is coming, if it's late, how late it is, etc. And the parents, they complain that the buses are late, but we are drivers as well. So we know that this is not the fault of the school nor the driver that the bus is late, and that the buses will be late because the traffic gets heavier and heavier all around the world. But as long as I'm informed as a parent and I can, go to do some shopping while I'm instead of waiting for 20 minutes at the bus stop, I really appreciate it. So happy parents not calling the school. This is the thing that is being mentioned the most. And also this last point that is here, control and real-time information. It hasn't been mentioned by Kristen because as we said, he's got his own fleet, and the workers usually are the direct workers of the school. But very often when the school uses the third party for the busing system, the workers, the drivers are not their direct employees. Then we as a school, if we have the direct insight into what's happening on our routes, we gain the confidence necessary that the service that we offer to the students, to the parents, is the best, and we can stand by it. Very often our schools are telling us about, some parents, this is not a rule, but some parents who would, for example, say, oh, I was at the bus stop waiting for you and you were not there, you came before time. And very often it's not true. So the system like ours is a hard evidence. It is a proof against those parents and those words saying, no, the bus was there, the driver was there and waited for 5 minutes. It was you who have not been there. So it's really helpful in these situations. And I would like to finish looking at the students, because we are looking at the benefits for the school and for the environment and for the parents, but we shouldn't forget about our best asset, that is the students themselves. And I would say that not only it's enjoyable to take the bus in the morning and in the afternoon because you can make friends, you are meeting the peers that you wouldn't have met otherwise because they're in a different class, for example. But also it's educational wise, I think it's really important because it teaches the students how to go around, how to move around in a city using a bus, using a train for their later life. I don't know, Kristen, if you have any experience here.
I think so. I showed you at the very beginning that the actual kind of range we cover as a school in terms of transport is huge. So the kids can spend quite a long time actually on the bus. So some of them are spending about 45 minutes minimum in the morning and the evening every day, or even longer sometimes. So yeah, it's a very important part of their day, and this happens 5 days a week. So it is important.
Thank you so much. Well, that would be it when it comes to what we have prepared for you. As you see, you have our direct email addresses. So if you needed to ask anything or contact us, feel free to do it. However, now we will have some minutes if anybody has any question. I think we have a chat enabled. So if anybody wants to ask anything, just type it there. Yes, Gemma is asking if there will be a copy of today's presentation. Yes, we have recorded everything, and as soon as I have the recording ready, that probably will be tomorrow, I will send it to you and the people who could not attend as well. How do we differ from Zillow? Oof, no idea, because I have never had any demo with Zillow. So to be honest with you, we have seen them on the fairs, and I think our systems are pretty similar. When we met them at a fair, I took a look at what they were offering, and I don't know if they are offering the ad hoc trips, the change of the routes from the app. I'm not sure about it. But yeah, you would have to see both demos and let me know. Jackie's asking, hi, can I ask Kristen how he encourages parents to use the app? I have quite a few parents who simply don't.
Right, okay. We find it quite popular. So we found when we first started kind of advertising the fact it existed and encouraging people to go that way, it kind of just took off. I mean, there are parents who don't do it and do go through the office, but the vast majority of people kind of like having that level of control. So yeah, it has proven easier to actually do that than I anticipated. So probably just word of mouth, probably just people finding it quite good was enough to actually kind of encourage people to use it.
Yeah. Thank you, Kristen. Tina is asking, how can you turn any features off? Yes, everything is totally customizable. So, for example, like parents would see, to give you some examples, the parents would see all of the stops, but if it's door to door, we make all the stops invisible and the parents only see what's theirs. Or, for example, when it comes to absences marking by the parents or changing the route, we can totally eliminate it. So the parents don't even know that there is a feature like that. If you activate both, you can decide the minimum time before the route that the parents have to place such changes. So it's just you telling us what you need. And if something is impossible, we usually try to make it possible for the school, because it's you who is working on the grounds with the system. Anna from BCA is asking, can the app be linked into iSAMS parental portal, or it should be used as a separate app? Yes. For the moment, it should be used as a separate app. So there is no possibility. Kristen has been asking for it for quite some time. So this is something that we have on our roadmap, and probably one day it will happen. We would like to have the single sign-on, but for the moment, it's a separate app. Nikki is asking, being based in a rural location, do we need good signal strength? Wait, because there are some questions and I stop seeing it. To be able to load information onto the app. I'll say my part, but Kristen, you can comment on it because you are rural as well. We need as little as 2G. I'll tell you just from the technical perspective. So we need as little as 2G to work fully on the app. So I'm sure on many places nowadays, there is much more than 2G. However, the app is fully prepared to work offline. So if there is a connection that we lose, the system stores the real data. And then as soon as the connection is retrieved, the real data is being sent to the system. So, for example, if we pick up a child at 10 a.m. where there was no signal and I have the signal back at 3 past, it wouldn't be 3 past that I see on the system. The school still and the parents still know that the child has been picked up at 10 a.m. I don't know, Kristen, if you, from your experience, if you can say something.
No, I think that kind of translates to what we see as well when it actually using it in the field. we don't really have that much of an issue with the data. I mean, they occasionally have the parent who might have who lives in a poor point, and therefore they struggle. But the actual buses themselves, because they move from cell to cell, I guess generally speaking, it's fine. It works okay, even in a rural situation.
Okay, thank you. I was afraid of what you were going to say.
It's terrible.
Okay, there is another question from Jackie. Do you have any help sheets for parts of the system? For example, communicating with parents in real time, and how to add a pupil that turns up unexpectedly? We do not have any help sheets, well, apart from what we have in the manual. But Jackie, I'm taking note of, well, the chat is being saved. So Jackie's our customer. She's one of our schools. So I will tell the support team to contact you and help you with these two. I hope it helps. And Robert is saying we only provide door-to-door service, no pickup points, maximum 7 students per route vehicle. I see the value in transparency, planning, and admin features. Do you offer different functionality packages at different cost prices? So you mean, well, we do not like. We do have some different packages depending on the volume. However, being the volume smaller on the buses doesn't change the cost, but don't worry, because the cost does not depend on the vehicle. So I think you are going that direction. Our cost depends on the licenses. So if you have 7 students on the vehicle, we charge for the 7 students and not for the whole vehicle. That would be, for example, in other school 56-seater. So don't worry about it. And I hope it helps. But Robert, if you meant something else, just let us know. And I have the last question for Kristen. Gemma says, have you found that your drivers have responded well to going online? We have quite a few drivers that are reluctant to move away from paper registers or are not very tech savvy.
Yeah, that is a challenge. I think the drivers we have, we tend to have ex-military and ex-police officers that are kind of just doing this as a kind of a job. And they don't tend to be that tech savvy, but actually they quite like, once they start using it again, they kind of like the idea of actually pinpointing the stops precisely where they can go, and they like the benefits of it. So, and it isn't a difficult thing to actually use, really. So yeah, you have a little bit of a hurdle, but actually once they get into it, they find it far easier and far better than the paper alternative. So yeah, it has a little challenge, but it's not a huge challenge.
Yeah, let me add here a little bit, because I was thinking here while you were answering the question. We have I'm Polish originally, and we have a school in Poland where the drivers are over 60, all of them, and the app at the beginning was translated to Polish, but it was a Google translator until I made it a little bit better. However, I remember when we were giving them the training, they were really reluctant, really, because they felt as if the school was monitoring them and checking if their job was done well. However, at the time being, 1 year after, they are the biggest defenders, because they see that this is a tool that they can, because they do their job well. So this is the tool that they can use to show that, no, I was there on time, or I was 2 minutes late, but there was a huge traffic on the way. The biggest thing to communicate to the drivers is just that first, nothing is stored on their devices, and secondly, that the phone is monitored only when the route is ongoing. As soon as the route is finished, the parents and the school stop seeing everything. So there shouldn't be any problem, but sometimes it's difficult. Yeah. Anna is asking if we have any tutorial videos. When it comes to that, we do not have any tutorial videos. The only videos we have are kind of commercial. So usually when we meet a new school, we give them a demo, like on Teams, showing the system, because there are so many features that it's really difficult to make a nice and short video. But I can send you some that we have that show a little bit of the system. Nikki is asking, Kristen, do you supply a phone for all drivers, or are they expected to use their own?
We do supply the phone set handset because basically for GDPR and so reasons we prefer to use our own technology so that we can kind of retrieve that back off them as well. So we kind of charge it essentially at school. They pick it up and they go and do the routes and then drop it back off for charging. So yeah, they don't have to use their own devices.
And if they had, because we have some schools that ask their drivers, like there is a supplement that is being paid by the school for the use of the data. However, if you use our app every day from Monday till Friday for 2 hours on a daily basis, you wouldn't use a lot of internet. I mean, so they pay a little bit of supplement for this usage of data to the drivers. And if the drivers use their own phones, nothing gets stored on the phone. Everything is stored on Microsoft Azure. So the drivers cannot get back to see any information on the app anymore. Anna is asking, is the app available in Spanish? Yes, it is available in 12 languages. Some of them as exotic as Kazakh, Uzbek. Of course, we do have Arabic, French, Portuguese. And if there is any language that is necessary and we do not have it, we would translate it without any problem. So yes, it's totally translatable. It's a software. So, and oh yeah, which is the cost for each license? It depends a lot on the volume, but because if we work with a group of schools, then there is a margin for discussion. No, but usually what we charge is we make it simple. So we charge €2 per license per month. During 10 months. So in vacation, if you have no routes, we wouldn't charge. And we do the same in the UK, but to make it simple, we just charge £2. And there are no more questions, I think. Let's leave maybe half a minute. You're welcome. Everybody's saying thank you. You're welcome. Christus is asking, hi all, and thank you for this webinar. Okay, this is not asking. Thank you, Christus, for attending. Where are the servers? There is a question from Stephanie. The server that we use is Microsoft Azure in Ireland. So we at Nuncis, the company is called Nuncis, we do have our own cloud, but we do not use it for the purposes of BatOnRoute for the GDPR. You're welcome. Okay, this is the last chance to type any question. If not, you have our email addresses, so you can always contact us, and I will be contacting you with the video. There are people writing, so I'm waiting. Thanks a lot for the presentation. No, thank you for attending. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Kristen, Ray. Oh, no, Jackie, my last one. There is one more question. Sorry. That's good. That's good.
She typing?
This is going to be a long question.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I have a mobile. Can the system be downloaded onto it so I can use it at home? As admin, there is no application, so you cannot download anything. But yes, you can access it through the web page. So if you go to your browser on your mobile phone and you type in admin BatOnRoute.com and you place your credentials, you can access the system. So if you are in a hurry, you need to see something, you need to check if the buses are ongoing, you just go there and you can see everything. It's prepared to be there.
The other thing we do as well is we normally have a transport manager who use the driver's app, but he's actually he's connected to every single one of the routes. So he can actually open up the app and see every single one of the routes, which we don't give that to everyone. So you can kind of flick down and have a quick look at what's going on, which kind of is quite handy.
Great news. Thank you, Jackie response. Okay, thanks to you. And yeah, as we said, if you have any question, we are available. You have our email addresses. You will be hearing from me with the video, with the recording. So thank you a lot. And yeah, I hope we are in touch. Thank you, Kristen. Thank you, Ray.
No problem. Bye.
Thank you, Justine.
Thank you. Bye-bye.